Okay.
So
Now,
we were talking about universal basic income, and Uno-san, you said, okay, I don't believe in giving people free money,
mm, ethically,
but we're doing it all the time.
ethically, uh, we are saying, Chinese saying, Japanese saying, if you don't work, you don't get money.
But what is the reason behind it?
This is a moral law. Japanese moral law. If you don't work, you can't get money. This is moral law.
Okay, so if I don't pay for something, I should not get it.
Exactly.
Okay, so if I walk on the street and I'm on holiday, then I should not be able to walk on that street because I didn't pay for it.
What do you mean?
I
This
didn't
is
pay for that
philanthropy.
street. What?
Philanthropy, right? You're talking about.
No, I'm talking about just basic principle that I don't think I don't see the value of a principle that if you cannot get anything for free.
No, it's not free.
Why not?
No, this is a way of education. Moral law.
Yeah, but I'm
Okay,
questioning that law.
this is okay. We have some regulation
Regulation,
and
rules.
law,
Lo-
and but above and fundamentally under the law, we have moral law. Moral law is not invadable.
But if we are looking at universal basic income and we look at its benefits and we see that it would benefit society if we would introduce universal basic income.
No, people cannot invade this kind of principle.
But Ed,
Why not?
that is your guessing.
This is the
Guessing,
education.
right?
No,
but
no, that's
I
based
don't know what's going to happen actually in the long run.
But this is based on research that they did. It's not
Oh,
just
in
based on
Alaska.
yeah, for example in Alaska.
But it was in a limited time, right?
Yeah.
But in the long run, it's going to change their people's mentality
But if
for
we, yeah, but
work
if we,
ethics.
but if we're thinking about it, if we're really thinking about it, it would $1,000 really make people to decide to stop working.
In the long run, it's only my opinion, but it might change. It can change some people's mentality, or some people start take advantage of the system without making effort.
But actually, so
And it's
think
gonna-
about it. If you get money, for example, if you lose your job or you get sick, then at the moment you find a job, you lose that money, right? So you're taking the encouragement for people to find a job, even though it's a part-time job or it's a not so well-paid job. You think, okay, well, I need to choose. Am I going to work in this factory for only 30% more income because you first got $1,000 a month, then after you get the job, you get $1,300 a month, for example. That's only $300 more. So you're actually encouraging people to not take that job until they've got like the job that they really like and pays enough for them to start working. What you want is that those people who can find a job say, okay, you got the $1,000 a month. Now you can find a job for $1,300 a month. There's a big benefit in taking that job because you go from $1,000 to $2,300. So you're actually encouraging people to work, not disencouraging people to work. You're encouraging people to work. Nobody will say, or at least that's my assumption, that okay, I will voluntarily be poor or have $1,000 a month. People at the bottom will get more stability. People who need it the most, because they can get more income for the basics, for good food, healthy food, for some education, for clothing. There'll be less stress on those families because they are not absolutely poor anymore. So that means more more healthy society, less. Like what he said, there is less domestic violence, things like that, because there's less stress within those families.
No, tell the truth, okay, that what you're talking about is that actually violating the spirit of Japan. Okay? Violation,
The-
moral law.
what is the saying?
Yeah, we cannot do that.
首からずですよね。
We cannot move it. So this is different sort of that. Maybe European people, they're going to accept money, free money, but Japanese or Oriental people never accept that idea. Asian people, and based upon Confucianism, and they cannot accept it. The spirit of Japan, the violation, sort of bushido, the kind of thing.
But that's a very dogmatic standpoint. I think that's
Yeah,
why.
but this is a culture.
So
And
dogmatism.
father and grandfather and all the way around, they just keep that rule.
Even though the other rule is better, but because it's against our spirit.
No. This is tradition. Tradition is.
We don't care about tradition.
No, tradition generates dignity. That's the reason European people they don't have dignity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Recently,
Now we're getting into an
think
interesting
about,
discussion. We don't have
British
dignity.
Big British people. Nobody has dignity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're recording this.
Oh my God.
Just lost it. Brexit seat.
Like when
Parliament.
you look at the socialistic countries or communistic countries, it's not competitive, and this kind of system, introducing this kind of system, loses
No, it's not.
competition.
No, it's not.
It
You need to really make a difference between socialism and universal basic income. I do understand that it is tempting to compare the two, but it's different. The only thing that it does, it keeps a capitalist system, but it creates a border level from 0 to 12,000. That's the only thing it does. But capitalism in itself remains stagnant. Like this remains the system. It only lowers the bottom, and it has a lot of good side effects because it will alleviate a lot of people who are in immediate financial problems. It will create more welfare for families, and it will help people to show a difficult time.
Is there any is there any weakness or the negative consequences it can be in the future with this system?
I mean, there is no perfect system. I'm sure that there could be people who, I don't know exactly how, who would be encouraged not to work anymore, who decides to just build a tent somewhere in the desert and live off $1,000 a month. Because if you just take your $1,000 into an area where life is cheap, maybe they are encouraged no longer to work anymore. It's possible. It is possible, and I mean, some people who need very little money might be encouraged not to work anymore, but normally they would fall into a different kind of regime. I don't think it's just this system, but it's any kind of system that supports people who lose their jobs or who do not have any income. They also could, but any system they could take advantage of, including this system. What I think is more of a threat is that it's going to be very expensive. It's going to be very expensive. Like 60% of the total tax revenue of the United States will need to be spent on this universal basic income.
60%.
60% at the moment, at current level. The current level of revenue of the U.S. government is $4 trillion. Now, universal basic income for all adults in the United States will cost $2.4 trillion. That's 60%. So that is a lot of money, and basically how we're going to get that money. So what he says, okay, we need to capture the added value of.
So the source of the money is based on the tax collected.
Tax
right?
Over the new oil, like what they said, what oil is for Alaska, oil revenue is AI, IoT, data, these new technologies that will take away jobs, that will take away work opportunities for people, especially at the lower end of society, and will generate huge profits.
Yeah, many kind of way to how to
Huge
get
profits.
money.
So that money,
Any kind
those
of way.
profits, we need to make sure that we tax those profits, that we can actually put some of that money, some of the people who are affected by it, and put some of that money back into the hands of the people. Now you can have a universal basic income, or you can have government support. Government support will support all the people who lose their jobs. But what happens in that system is that people who lose their jobs, they might find it much harder to get back and find a new job. The universal basic income will not link that benefit to whether or not they're working. So those people who lose their jobs will find it easier to find another job because they have that basic level of income still.